In the ever-turbulent world of Port Charles, few characters have traversed a path as winding and controversial as Brad. Marked by manipulation, guilt, and a ceaseless desire for redemption, his latest departure once again leaves viewers pondering whether this truly is the end, or merely another pause in a saga far from finished. Brad's name is forever etched into the darker chapters of Port Charles history, and rightly so. His involvement in the baby swap scandal remains one of the most emotionally charged and morally devastating storylines the town has endured. Years ago, reeling from the sudden loss of his adopted son, a child he and Lucas had named Wiley, Brad committed an unthinkable act. In a haze of panic and heartbreak, he encountered Nell moments after she had given birth to a healthy boy. That boy, Jonah, the biological son of Michael and Nell, was exchanged for the deceased infant Brad held in his arms. And just like that, Jonah became Wiley, living under a false identity for the first 18 months of his life. It was a lie that unraveled slowly but shattered lives all at once. Brad's guilt eventually overcame his instinct for survival. During a heated argument with Lucas while driving, Brad finally broke down and confessed the truth. Fate delivered its punishment in the form of a car crash, leaving Lucas in a coma. When Lucas awoke, fragments of memory pieced together into one horrific realization. The aftermath was brutal. Michael, the rightful father, reclaimed his son. Willow, who had been led to believe Wiley was her biological child, was forced to confront the excruciating truth that her baby had died and that her grief had been misdirected. Brad paid the price behind bars, sharing a cell block with Nell, the very woman who had facilitated the switch and whose deceptions extended far beyond this singular incident. Her later death added another complicated layer to the legacy of this crime, especially when the town discovered that she and Willow were fraternal twins, a bombshell revelation that would only come years later. After his release from Pentonville, Brad found refuge, or at least utility, under the shadowy protection of his formidable aunt, Selena. Under her wing, he delved into the Wu family's operations, lingering in morally gray territory and briefly stepping back from hospital life. But the temptation to reinvent himself as a legitimate professional eventually lured him back. He pleaded for reinstatement at General Hospital, swearing to anyone who would listen that the man who had once caused so much pain was gone. The hospital gave him a chance, albeit cautiously, and Brad attempted to build something resembling a stable life. Yet, even with the best intentions, his past proved difficult to escape. When whispers of irregularities began to surface again, suspicions followed him like shadows. And when he crossed paths with Portia, the hospital's chief of staff, the tension escalated into a dangerous standoff. Portia, powerful and increasingly desperate to cover her own misdeeds, had made the mistake of underestimating Brad. Their conflict reached a critical point when Brad, once again caught in the moral balance between silence and truth, chose to expose her instead. According to Brad's account, it was Portia who had drugged Drew, a claim that shocked even those familiar with her more recent uncharacteristic behavior. In exchange for his silence, Brad secured a massive settlement, a cool $1 million. And with that, he walked away. Lucas, for his part, had long moved on. Now building a relationship with Marco, he no longer seemed tethered to the pain of his past with Brad. Their connection, once built on hopes of fatherhood and family, had become irreparably fractured by the magnitude of betrayal. That severance, while painful, was perhaps necessary. Brad, knowing there was no path back into Lucas's life, made the pragmatic decision to use the payout as a springboard for reinvention, away from the hospital, away from Port Charles, and away from the echoes of Wiley's stolen infancy. The residents of Port Charles, seasoned veterans in loss and scandal, reacted with a mix of relief and unresolved feelings. Brad's departure wasn't clean, nor was it celebrated. It was simply accepted. Some may never forgive him, others may see in him a man who tried, however messily, to make things right. He remains a figure defined not by a single act, but by the endless chain of consequences that followed it. Still, even as he disappears once more from the canvas, the question lingers, is this truly goodbye? In the world of General Hospital, departures are rarely permanent. The past has a way of looping back around, and Brad, for all his faults and missteps, has proven remarkably resilient. Whether driven by guilt, necessity, or the desperate need for connection, he has always found his way back into the story, and into the lives of those he's touched, scarred, or betrayed. And then there's Selena. As long as she remains a player in the Port Charles power game, Brad's tether to the town is never fully severed. He may be gone now, $1 million richer and no doubt reflecting on everything that's happened, but one day, under new circumstances or with a new agenda, he might return. Whether as a man reformed or as someone once again on the edge of destruction, Port Charles has not seen the last of Brad. And when he does re-emerge, it will no doubt be just as messy, complicated, and unforgettable as ever.